Haribo, namaste. My name is Mahabhagavad Das. Welcome to the Experience Meditation evening tonight. Thank you for coming. And so you've come to Yoga Kirtan Hawaii, which you can find us on yogakirtanhawaii.com and on Facebook and Instagram. Yoga Kirtan Hawaii is an Oahu-based organization, and we offer programs, classes, and events. This includes Hatha Yoga, Kirtan, meditation classes, and I get a bit tired of making this kind of comment, but we also offer vegan dinners, but right now, due to all the lockdowns and COVID-19 and so on, there is no vegan dinners right now. So naturally, of course, on Facebook Live, all the events are live, but free. Sorry, but in the real world, in the non-virtual world, also all our programs are free or donation-based. So we're currently holding regular events on Facebook Live, and you can visit the Facebook page or the Instagram page to see when all the different events are, and they're in the calendar. You can also visit the website for them. So Yoga Kirtan Hawaii is the outreach arm of a large organization known as the Science of Identity Foundation. And the Science of Identity Foundation was founded by Jagat Guru Siddhasarupananda Paramahansa, my spiritual teacher. And Jagat Guru is the disciple of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And they're coming in a long line of spiritual teachers known as the Brahma, Madhva, Gauriya Sampradaya. Sampradaya means lineage or tradition. And this Sampradaya or lineage or tradition, stretches back throughout history to before the beginning of the universe and originates actually with the Supreme Person himself. So our program tonight, we're going to be teaching 3 types of meditation, or practicing 3 types of meditation. The first will be Kirtan, which is a group practice of meditation with singing and and dancing, if you like. Then we'll do some deep breathing along with a mantra, the Gora Anga mantra. And then we'll do Japa meditation, which is an individual practice which is done on beads. So after we've done these 3 types of meditation, this will be followed by a short yoga wisdom class for maybe 20-25 minutes, and then we'll have some more kirtan. So we should all be done by around 8:20 to 8:30 p.m., something like that. So this program goes for around an hour and a half. So just to introduce kirtan. So kirtan is the chanting or the singing of transcendental sound vibrations or mantras. So the word mantra has its origin. It's a Sanskrit word, and it has two components to it: man, which refers to the mind, and tra, which means to draw away. So a mantra draws the mind away from this temporary material dimension to the eternal spiritual dimension. And so these sacred sounds or mantras that we chant, these are like a lifeline. So these mantras are coming down in this Brahma, Madhva, Gauriya, Sampradaya, the lineage or tradition that I mentioned earlier. So these transcendental sound vibrations, these mantras, are being handed down through this disciplic succession or lineage from one spiritual teacher to the next, and then to their student, who then passes it to their students, and so on, down to the present day. So these transcendental sound vibrations, these mantras, are actually coming from the spiritual world. They're spiritual sound vibrations. They have nothing to do with this temporary material world. And so we can actually take shelter in and grab hold of these transcendental sound vibrations, and they can actually take us from this temporary material world where we experience unhappiness and suffering, and they can actually take us to the spiritual world. And this spiritual world is known as Vaikuntha. And Vaikuntha is a Sanskrit word meaning no anxiety. So at this current time, of course, so many of us are in anxiety, and so we should take advantage of the opportunity to engage in kirtan, where we can rest our heart and mind in this transcendental sound, and we can actually grab hold of these transcendental mantras, take them within our mind and heart, and we can actually by engaging in this practice of transcendental sound meditation, this kirtan, we can actually go to the spiritual world. They're like a lifeline where the inhabitants of the spiritual world are throwing to us, and we can grab hold of it, and they can pull us into the spiritual world, the world of no anxiety. So the mantras that we chant, they're the names of the Supreme Person, or words spoken by Him, or words about Him. So the mantra we'll be chanting tonight, I believe, is going to be Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana Mohana. And perhaps we'll chant a few other mantras as well. So while you're engaging in the meditation, the kirtan, so just focus your mind upon the sound of the mantra. So try to put aside all the different thoughts and so on, and just focus on the mantras. Rest your heart and your mind within the transcendental sound. So bring the mantra within your mind, within your body, and into your heart. And if the mind wanders, as it tends to do, then just gently bring it back to the sound of the mantra. Just listen to the sound, Gopala. And just as I'm sitting in this chair and resting and being supported by the pillow and the back and the arms, similarly we can take shelter in and rest in and be supported by these transcendental sound vibrations. So kirtan is done in a call and response manner. My wife, Radhisham Dasi, she will lead the kirtan. So she will sing the mantra, and then I will follow. And when I follow, you can all join in with me. So we'll do the kirtan for about 20 minutes, and then we'll do the deep peace breathing.
Hello everyone, thanks for coming to join in some kirtan. And of course you can use any tune you want. I've just chosen this one for tonight with you said the Gopala Govinda Rama. Gopala Govinda Rama Dana Moana. No, I'm singing the wrong thing. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Moana. Gopala Govinda Rama Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohan. Gopala, Govinda Rama, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Staying, right? So I hope you enjoyed the kirtan. So now we're going to do some deep peace breathing, which we do along with a mantra. Go ra ang ga, go ra ang ga. And so just to prepare for this deep breathing meditation exercise, please just sit comfortably, just in a chair. Don't have your legs uncrossed, maybe your feet flat on the ground. So just be aware of how you're sitting. Sit with your chest open and have your eyes closed, and just become aware of your breath, of your breathing. So breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. So while you're breathing in and out and being aware of the breath, just relax your feet and relax your calves, your knees, your thighs, your stomach area, your chest, your shoulders, your neck, your face, and your head, the top of your head. And just try and relax and just focus on the breath as you breathe in and out. So as you breathe in, take the breath all the way down to what's known as the tanjan, just down in the belly. And so now we're going to add the chanting of the Go, Ra, Anga mantra to it. And as we breathe in, just chant the mantra silently in your mind. And as we breathe out, we'll say the mantra out loud. Go, Ra, Anga.
Shall I start?
Yeah, start.
Ra
more breaths. So we can do the Guranga breathing anytime, anywhere. It's a nice, relaxing thing to do. You can do it when you wake up, or when you're lying in bed going to sleep, or if you're catching a bus or wherever. So, it's a nice practice that you can add to your daily activities. So now we're going to do Japa meditation, which is chanting on beads. And so whereas Kirtan is a group practice, or it can be done individually, but generally it's done in a group. And the Guranga breathing is generally also an individual practice. And so Japa meditation is something that you can just do on your own. And we, during the practice of the Japa meditation, we chant the mantra quietly to ourselves. You can say it just audibly so you can hear it. And it's good to do this Japa meditation in a quiet place. Maybe you can set aside a little place in your house where you do your spiritual practices. And, a spiritual place. Or you can do it while you're out walking or sitting at the beach. And we chant on beads. This is a set of Japa beads, and this has 54 beads around it and a head bead. And the generally a full set of Japa beads is 108 beads. So this is actually like a half set of Japa beads. And the idea of the beads is that you can keep track of how many times you're chanting. So you hold the bead between the thumb and the third finger. You don't use this finger. And you sort of roll the bead between your thumb and finger, and then you say the mantra, Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana, and then you roll to the next bead and say the mantra, and so on all the way around. And so the idea of chanting on the beads is to keep track, to keep count. And so going around one time is called a round. And it's good to set like a minimum number that you would like to do each day. Of course, you can just start with a very small number. And the idea is that you get in a regular habit and you chant a certain number of times. So it's best to not be erratic or change it. It's good like to chant regularly each day a certain amount. Sometimes you might chant a little more, but it's good to have a minimum number that you chant every day. And so that may be, to begin with 1 or 2 rounds, something like that, and then you can slowly build it up. It's not recommended to do none one day and 20 the next day and 50 the next day and then none for 3 days. It's good to be regular in your spiritual meditation practices. And if you'd like to get a set of beads, you can email us at yogakirtanhawaii@gmail.com, and we'll happily send you some beads. So if you don't have beads, you can use anything that's got beads, like a necklace or kukui nut lei beads or anything that you may have. And if you don't have beads, that's okay. You can just chant along with us, and we'll keep count on the beads. But the idea with the beads is that as well as being a way to keep count, it also engages the sense of touch. So in addition to the hearing and the sense of speaking, also the sense of touch is involved, and that again helps you to focus the mind. So as we chant the mantra on the beads, we focus on the sound vibration, the Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana mantra that we'll be chanting on the beads. And if you find your mind begins to wander, as it tends to do, just bring it back to the sound of the mantra. And as with the kirtan, try to take the sound of the mantra, the transcendental sound vibrations, the sacred sounds, try and bring them into your heart and mind and try and focus upon them. So we'll get started now, and we start on the head beat here, and then we'll chant one round. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Gopala, Govinda, Rama, give a short yoga wisdom class. If you want to adjust the... So, before speaking yoga wisdom, first I'd like to offer my respects unto my spiritual teacher, whom I mentioned at the start of the class, Jagat Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahansa, who has taught me yoga wisdom. And I would also like to offer my respects to all of you. Thank you for watching. I hope that you find yoga wisdom to be very enriching in your life. So a little bit of introduction to, the terms yoga and wisdom. So yoga, the word yoga, means to link up. So the English word yoke, you can sort of visualize two bullocks and a yoke, joining them together. So this is like, so yoga means like there's two people, just like there's two bullocks, and then the process of yoga is what links them together. And so yoga is like this. So it entails two people and a method or a process of attaining union or linking up together. So more specifically, yoga means to link up with or achieve union with the Supreme. So it's not just about the linking up of two individuals in this world, two individual spiritual beings, although that is a little bit of a type of yoga. We can get a glimpse into yoga through our relationships with others in this world. But the actual meaning of yoga is to link up with the Supreme, and more specifically, the Supreme Person. So, we can experience, as I just mentioned, get a little insight into what this yoga can be like in our relationships in this world. We may have a relationship with our spouse or with our children or with our parents. And so in this union or this family union, this connection that we have with others, we can experience some happiness. And the more that we are loving them and they are loving us, our sense of closeness or union feels even stronger. And so similarly, with yoga, we can enter into a loving relationship with the Supreme Person. And the more that this relationship on our part, the more that we are loving, then the Supreme Person's love is already there, and we can, as we reciprocate that love, and as we give more love, then we can link up together in yoga with the Supreme Person. This is the process, the type of yoga that we specifically teach is known as Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means love. So Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of love. So there are different types of yoga. There is Karma Yoga, which means the yoga of work or the yoga of action. There is Jnana Yoga, or the yoga of knowledge, or yoga of knowledge, or of using one's intelligence. So the yoga of action is about engaging activity in this world, Karma Yoga. The yoga of knowledge is the yoga of the mind, Jnana, known as Jnana Yoga. And then Bhakti Yoga is like the highest form of yoga. It's the yoga of the heart. It's having a loving relationship with the Supreme Person. So in this sense, it is the highest yoga. And of course, Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of love, includes within it action and also knowledge. Right? This yoga, loving union, is based upon knowing the other person. So you have to know the person to be able to love them. You need to know, well, what is their name, what do they look like, what do they do. And so as you gain knowledge, then you can actually, your love can deepen. The more you know a person, then you can love them more. And also, of course, there's action involved. When you love someone, you do things for them. You engage in activities to please them. So this is Karma Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga contains within it Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is therefore the highest rung on the yoga ladder. So we can experience, as I mentioned, just as we love our children or our spouse or our parents, we experience some love and happiness from that. So if you can only imagine the amount of happiness and blissfulness that can come from linking up in yoga, in loving union with the Supreme Person. So the Supreme Person is the source of all the living beings and of all the material and spiritual worlds. And the Supreme Person is actually known as Krishna, the all-attractive person. This is the literal meaning of the word Krishna, the all-attractive. And he has a form of which is known as Satchitananda. Satchitananda, which means eternity, knowledge, or cognizance, bliss, Ananda. So similarly, we, the individual spirit soul, we are not this body. We are spiritual in essence. We're eternal spiritual beings. And just as the Supreme Person, who is the source whom we are coming from, just as he is, his body, his spiritual body is Satchitananda, knowledge, eternity and bliss. Similarly, we are also like that. Our true intrinsic spiritual nature is that we are eternal, full of knowledge and blissful. So when we link up with the Supreme Person, then this Ananda or blissfulness becomes very strong and very much experienced. So this is actual yoga, loving union with the Supreme Person. So to understand yoga, we need to understand our identity. And as I was just describing, we're actually a spirit soul. The Sanskrit term is Atma. We're spiritual in essence. We're not this body. We're not this gross physical body comprised of flesh and blood. This material body is temporary. It comes into being, it grows, it exists for some time, it dwindles, and then it dies. The body dies, but you do not die. You, the eternal spirit soul, exist eternally. You are always ever existing. So this material body, which in many ways it's just like a leather bag, right? The skin, if dried out, becomes leather. Then this body is like a leather bag full of bones and blood and muscles and fat and different internal organs and so on. And so this body comprised of earth, water, fire, air and ether is like the hardware. And then we also have a subtle body which is comprised of the mind and the intelligence and what's known in the Sanskrit term ahankara, which is the false ego, the sense that I am the doer, that I, the body, am the doer. that I am this body. This is ahankara. So this subtle body comprised of this mind, and the mind is all the feelings and thoughts and emotions that pass through our mind like a never-ending stream of mind stuff. This is like the operating system or the software. It's like you have a computer and you have the hardware, right? The physical hard drives and the keyboard and the processor, central processing unit, right? And the RAM, random access memory. You have all this like physical hardware in a computer, and then you have the software that makes it work, that makes it run, you know, the operating system, like the Windows operating system or the Apple operating system, iOS. Right? So you have the hardware and you have the software. So similarly, we have a gross physical body that's like the hardware, and then we have the subtle material body, which is like the software. And so I'm spiritual in essence, and so the Vedic aphorism is known as Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit. I am Brahma. I am Brahma. I am spiritual in essence. So this is my actual essence. I am spiritual. I am eternal. I am not this gross physical body. And so while I am spiritual in essence, I am Atma. I'm not the Supreme Spirit. So this is my position. So yes, I'm spiritual, I'm spirit soul, but I'm not the Supreme Soul. Rather, I am part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. In other words, the Supreme Soul is very great, and I'm very small, but I am the same in quality. So in quantity, we are not the same, but in quality, in spiritual quality, we are the same. So we are like a spark coming from a fire. Like you have the fire, and then you have sparks coming from the fire. So you can, the sparks are emanating from the fire, and yet the spark, it is fire. It has all the characteristics of fire, but at the same time, it's not the fire itself. Or you can have another example is the sun and the sunshine. So the sunshine is coming from the sun, but it's not the same as the sun. So we are similar in quality, but we are not God. We are not the source. You know, Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita that He is the source of all the material and spiritual worlds, that everything is emanating from Him. He says, Aham savasya prabhava mata savam pravartate. So everything emanates from me, all the material and spiritual worlds. So we are not God. Obviously we can't say that everything is emanating from me. I mean, like, you know, if Mahabhagavad Das started saying things like that, we'd all think he was a bit wacky, right? But unfortunately there is people who teach the idea that, oh, I am God, you are God, we just forgot. So this, of course, is a nonsense philosophy. Yes, you are similar to God in essence, but you are not God Himself. It's actually in Lord Chaitanya, who appeared 500 years ago and actually was the incarnation of God, who taught this, who taught the process of kirtan and chanting of the holy names, chanting of the transcendental sound vibrations. His philosophy was described as a chincha beta beta tattva. What this means is a chincha is inconceivable, and beta beta tattva means truth. But the beta means simultaneously one, yet distinct. So you can't separate the spark from the fire, and similarly you can't separate the minute living entities, the spirit souls who are coming from Krishna, the source of everyone and everything. We are part of God, but at the same time we are distinct. So we are simultaneously one, yet distinct. Achintya beta beta tattva. So understanding that our our essence, that we're spiritual, that my identity is that I'm spiritual in essence, but I'm not the Supreme Spirit. Instead, I'm the minute part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit. Then the question is, well, what is my function? What is, if I'm spiritual in essence and I'm eternal, and I live forever. In fact, there is no time when I did not exist in the past. I'm currently existing in the present, and I will continue to exist in the future. Krishna states this in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 12, that never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, nor all these kings gathered here on this battlefield of Kurukshetra, and never in the future shall we cease to be. So, understanding this, understanding my identity as spirit soul, that I'm not the Supreme Spirit, but that I exist eternally in the past, in the future, in the present, and in the future, then what is my function? Right now I base my function around, or my goal in life, or my purpose around the particular body I have. You know, like, I'm a man, you know, I run a business, I have some children, I have a wife, and so I see my purpose in life, or my function in life, in relation to this body and to the relationships I have with other bodies. But these are all temporary. These do not. They're illusory in the sense that they're temporary. They're not false in that they do exist, right? But they're temporary. So in this sense, they're illusory, or not really real. It's a bit like, you know, when you have, you watch TV or a movie or something, and there's an actor, and the actor is like playing a role, and a really good actor is one who really believes in the role they're playing, and they basically convince you that they are that person that they're playing. But actually the reality is that actor is that, it's just an actor. They're just acting. It's just like, you could watch the movie. There was a movie about President Lincoln several years ago, and there's an actor playing Abraham Lincoln. And if he does his acting role well, then you accept him. Oh yes, this is Abraham Lincoln, and you stop thinking of him as an actor, that he's Joe Bloggs or whatever his name is, and you relate to him as though he's Abraham Lincoln. So similarly, we're spiritual in essence, and we aren't this body. We are not. This body is not us. But because we identify with the body so much, we're absolutely convinced it's us. And so we're like, even though we're acting a part, we actually believe it's real. But actually it's false. It's temporary. It's only a temporary. This body is only temporary. This role we play is only temporary. And so I would like to read a text from the ancient yoga wisdom text or book known as the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad means beautiful, and Bhagavatam means the book of God. So this is an ancient yoga text which was compiled and written down approximately 5,000 years ago by Srila Vyasadeva. And so this particular verse I'd like to speak on, it's spoken by the dead son of King Chitraketu. So there was a king, and he had a wife, and he had several wives, and but he had no children. He had no heir. So he's a king. When you're in a kingdom, the heir is everything. It's very important to have an heir, but he had no heir. So he was very distraught about this, and some holy saints came by, Narada Muni and Anjura Rishi, and he expressed his unhappiness to them and requested them to help him. And so they did help him. They assisted him and his first wife to get pregnant. and in fullness of time she gave birth to a child. And so this child was just absolutely so important to King Chitraketu and to his wife. They were just completely enamored of him. But this resulted in the co-wives becoming very envious because they didn't have children. And so the first wife became very important, whereas their importance became less so, and they became neglected by their husband. And so, becoming very envious, they poisoned the child. And this child, died. And so as a result, it was just like the mother, and then the king Chitraketu became absolutely distraught, devastated, absolutely devastated. If any of you have lost a child, you can relate to what a devastating experience this is when a child dies for the parents. And so then Narada Muni and Jura Rishi came back and visited them, and it's like just at the moment after the child had died, and is devastated. And so through their mystic powers, they were able to call back the spirit soul who had inhabited the body of this child, and they had a conversation with this child. So one of the verses that this dead son spoke in Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text 8. So the dead son said, "Even though one living entity becomes connected with another because of a relationship based on bodies that are perishable, the living entity is eternal. Actually, it is the body that is born or lost, not the living entity. One should not accept that the living entity takes birth or dies. The living entity actually has no relationship with so-called fathers and mothers. As long as he appears as the son of a certain father and mother, as a result of his past fruitive activities, he has a connection with the body given by that father and mother. Thus he falsely accepts himself as their son and acts affectionately. After he dies, however, the relationship is finished. Under these circumstances, one should not be falsely involved with jubilation and lamentation." So the dead son spoke quite at length, quite a few more verses than this. And so, of course, you can imagine the king and the queen are just like astounded, that the dead son is speaking in this way. And so actually it's like at a moment of grieving and loss like this, one can actually achieve self-realization more easily because one is experiencing the misery that comes. So oftentimes when when their spouse dies, or if a child dies, or their parents die, they become aware of the temporary nature of this material body, and they become aware of the fact that, oh, wait a minute, he died or she died, and you know what, I'm going to die. So most of the time we try and put this thought out of our minds. We don't think about it. It's just kind of like, other people die, I don't die. Others die, I live forever. But then when someone close to us dies, it becomes like a bit of a wake-up call. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm going to die. So this becomes like a door to self-realization. Opportunity to ponder, what is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Who am I? So anyway, so here the dead son is speaking. He's saying that even though one living entity becomes connected with another because of a relationship based on bodies that are perishable, so we become connected, like we have our mother or our father, for the baby, and there's a connection there. But the relationship based on the bodies, these are perishable. These are short term. They exist for a little while. But the living entity is eternal. So how many mothers and fathers have we had? How many children have we had? And then in your next life, maybe you were born to your children and they become your parents. The role is reversed. Or maybe, you are not, more likely you have other parents. There's so many living entities, so many parents. So, and this, when we speak sometimes about the reincarnation, how the living entity, the process of reincarnation, how the living entity transmigrates from one body to the next, people tend to think about, well, who was I in my last life? I wonder if I was someone famous. For some reason, I always like to give the example of people thinking, was I Cleopatra? We like to think in this way, that I'm someone famous. We don't like to think that I was just Joe Bloggs, and I lived a very humdrum, boring life, and I wasn't that happy. And anyway, then now here I am in this particular body. So, but this is the reality. And it's not just one life. Who was I in my last life? Like, eternity is something that is just that, eternal. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings here, and never in the future shall we cease to be. So it's not that we've had one last body or one previous birth. It's like, no, we've had many different births, and we've had many different parents. And we shall have many different parents in the future. Unless we take this opportunity of the human form of life to inquire into what is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Who am I? So this is the actual purpose of human life. And so, through this process of inquiry and analysis, and through study of yoga wisdom, and through the process of the different yoga processes of Kirtan and Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, the yoga of action and the yoga of wisdom, and most importantly, Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of love. By engaging in the process of Kirtan, our heart and mind becomes cleansed, and the pure love that is within us. The very nature of the spirit soul is love. We want to love and be loved. And so this is our very intrinsic nature. And so as we chant the different yoga mantras, as we chant these different sacred sounds, our heart and mind become purified, and our actual pure nature as pure spirit soul, a pure loving being, increasingly manifests. And as we engage in the process of yoga and link up with the Supreme Person, then we become full of love, and our love expands from beyond our love for the Supreme Person. Our love expands as love to all living beings. So, thank you for listening, and please take the opportunity to engage in the process of Kirtan and the hearing and chanting of the sacred transcendental sounds, and please consider the yoga wisdom that I've shared with you, and take the opportunity to seek out a solution to the real problems of life. So, just some reminders. We have the schedule of events for Yoga Kirtan Hawai'i is posted on our Facebook page and website and Instagram. And every Tuesdays, we have prior to this, I think at 6 p.m., we have a live Kirtan, and then there's quite a lot more live Kirtans going on throughout the week. You can see the schedule. And I give a Bhagavad Gita class every fourth Sunday of the month, and on the last Tuesday of the month, I give a yoga wisdom talk on soul journey, a spiritual self-discovery. So I'm hopeful you'll take advantage of these different programs and classes that Yoga Kirtan Hawaii offers. And once again, if you'd like to get a set of beads, you can email us at yogakirtanhawaii@gmail.com, and we'll happily send you some beads. And so thank you for listening. And we're going to do a short kirtan now for approximately 10 minutes. So thank you very much. Haribol. Krishna. Might have to chase up my kirtan person. She was out here wondering when I was going to finish, and now she's gone.
Just a 5-minute kirtan, okay? Or did you want it to be 10 minutes?
Fine.
Same mantra. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Haribol, everyone. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming to the class on meditation and yoga wisdom. See you next